Ready? Okay, let's do this. So, Lizzy, as I said before, you're the first person that we're going to feature on video on our magazine, so that's pretty sick. What was the show?
It was amazing, actually. I think the response was really cool.
Yeah.
The first time I ever played in Berlin, it was top notch.
Awesome. Right, it's the first time in Germany too, right?
Yes.
That's pretty awesome. You've toured the US earlier this year though, right?
Very, very early this year, yes,
Yeah.
I did. I did like an acoustic set. I did like 4 days with Foyer, Microwave, and Elder Brother, which was really cool.
That's exciting. Did you notice the difference in the crowds?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
Okay.
I feel like because they knew I'd travelled so far, they were very like respectful, which is
Really?
quite nice.
That's
Yeah,
nice.
it's really nice.
That's actually pretty cool. I bet your family's pretty proud of you, for traveling in the US.
Definitely. My mum was terrified at
Really?
first. Yeah, but then she's probably one of my most like supporting family members. She's always, I think she's living her fantasies through me.
Through you?
Yeah,
That's
so which
awesome.
is cool.
I think if I got that right, you grew up with 6 siblings?
Yeah,
Yes.
well, technically I'm one of 7.
1 of 7?
Yes.
What was that like growing up?
It was mad. We were all homeschooled as well. We were home educated,
Right,
so
okay.
up until about the ages of 16. So yeah, it was a big family.
Are you the only one who's in music though? Or?
My 2 older sisters have always been quite musical, play guitar and sing, but none of them have like pursued it. It's always been their sort of hobbies. But
Okay.
we're all quite artsy. Like a little brother, he's an artist. My little sister wants to do movies. My older sister's got a degree in film. So we're all quite artsy. Yeah.
That's pretty sick. That's
Cool.
awesome. I bet your family meetings are interesting.
Definitely.
That's so cool. Let's talk a little bit about music. I think your music is pretty, like when I listen to it, I notice it's pretty multifaceted. Like your different EPs, like your 2 EPs, they sound very different to me,
Yes.
almost like completely different, like the opposite ends on the spectrum.
Definitely.
How important is it to you to always like reinvent yourself?
That first EP is all obviously very acoustic.
Right.
There's a few electronic guitars, but the majority is all acoustic because at that time I was writing what I could myself
Right.
without the help of people that I needed. So that whole EP I will hold really, really close to me.
Right.
But it's never been the music that I aspired to make. I've always been really into synth pop and like I'm a really big fan of like the 80s era and music from there, like Tears for Fears, Crowded House. And it wasn't until I kind of got signed and I met the people I needed to meet in that sense of
Yeah.
like, okay, this is my idea. Help me fucking make it. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, this is my melody, play it, let's do it.
That's awesome.
So this recent EP, Barbados, is
Right.
like my stepping stone into what I want to make. I don't necessarily want to be tied down to a single genre.
Yeah, right.
I want to be able to just. I listen to so many genres.
I know.
Like my music taste is so like mad, completely mad. It goes from like Frank Sinatra to like Rage Against the Machine. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's like the whole spectrum.
Yeah, so
that's awesome though.
I like all the elements of that rolled into one in that sense.
Yeah, who are you listening to the most right now?
I'm listening to The Midnight. Have you heard of them?
Yes.
There's a British band called Sleep Token.
Sleep Token. Oh, actually, I think I've heard of them.
They're really cool.
Awesome.
They've got like this sort of like almost like R&B pop vibe, but then mixed between like metalcore and heavy breakdowns, which is like for me is like the perfect combination ever. So it's like heavy pop essentially. Who else have I listened to? Lainey.
Good choice.
Lainey is. I love that band so much. Lots of like Turnstile. It varies.
Yeah, it definitely varies.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different genres.
Go
I
from
love
Lainey to Turnstile
That's
is like one
awesome.
extreme to the
What
other.
else is in there?
Not Police's new album is
Good choice.
extraordinary.
We just interviewed them like recently, and
Amazing.
I love these guys.
Yes,
so
they're
sick.
lovely. We're on the same label, so it's so mad.
You are.
Yeah, so it's so mad.
Pro Noise Records.
Yes.
Right. Sweet.
Yeah,
Sweet.
so yeah, their new album is incredible.
Those are crazy too.
I played Slam Dunk this year and they played and I got to watch them side stage and I was like, literally, I was like, get me in the fucking pit now, please.
You should have started your own mosh pit, like from
Side
stage. Awesome.
Yeah.
That's so sick. When looking at your art, I figured, like, I kind of had that feeling that everything is very well thought out. You know, for example, there's the color purple.
Yes.
Which is kind of like a golden thread, I think,
Yes.
a little bit. So, can you tell us a little bit about what it means to you?
So, I album in the beginning of this year in the States. Hopefully it'll be coming out at the start of next year. There's like this whole Purple vibe is like this aesthetic and story behind the whole album. There's been this vision for me ever since I was quite young to write this album.
Right.
The album title is Bruise, so the purple is sort of like obviously like purple bruises, and this big rolled white and purple is like another thing which will become apparent more. There's like a big roll of a white rabbit that involves in my album, so the white is sort of representing that. It sort of represents like a new era, following a rabbit down the rabbit hole.
Okay.
So that's hence why we all wear white on stage.
I was just gonna mention that. Yeah, I noticed that earlier.
Once the album's out, I'm gonna do I'll do like a little piece all about the whole idea, so people can get more of the idea of this whole purple era.
I'm really excited about that. You know, I really like concept works. I think are really interesting. So
I've always been a big fan of that. Like I've been a big fan of like David Bowie and shit like that. So they've always got those visions.
Yeah.
And when I write music, essentially, when I write lyrics, I'm always picturing like short films. So a lot of my music videos depends on the budget of the music video, but a lot of it is ideas from these short films I've written with lyrics. So
awesome. You watch a lot of movies yourself?
Yeah, I'm a big movie fan.
Okay, sweet. You said that you write these songs kind of like a mirrored image, and which means that, and correct me if I'm wrong, that your lyrics are on one side very personal, but on the other side it's very easy for your audience to relate to your music because you use a lot of like metaphors, you know, that make it easy for them to relate. You sometimes feel like these two sides kind of like conflict with each other, like there's some sort of tension, you know, when you write.
I feel like there's definitely songs which more have a deeper meaning than what is actually being portrayed in the song, in that sense. There's things that I'm not ready to openly sing about yet, but for me I'm singing them in a way that I am, but other people may not know that.
Right.
And I feel like for me, I get the thrill of listening to music that connects with me, and maybe some things I don't think everyone could connect to. So it's doing that whole balance of me singing something that I can project and get that release from singing, but then also people can sing along and interpret it in a way they need to. So that's kind of the vibe. But a lot on the new album, there's some blunt songs which are very like, that's what it's about.
Yeah, I like that. I noticed that. I think your songs are very straightforward.
Yeah.
You know, like you don't really sugarcoat a lot. I was like,
No.
yes, I love this. But is it sometimes a little bit scary to put yourself out there, you know, because I feel like you're being very honest, you know.
Yeah.
So I get that's gonna be I would be scared.
I think I'm more scared of my family.
Your
more
family,
than more than the public, because like, I think as I've got older, obviously your relationships with your parents build. I feel as you get older, you get more of a mature level, they understand more. So like I feel I'm not as afraid now, especially with the new album, to sing about these topics because my family have seen what I've been through and what I've gone through, so they get it. But yeah, it is scary. I'll write a lyric like, my mom's probably like daddy issues, for example. For example, in games, I was like,
that would be an issue.
Because like for me, that word is not necessarily towards the sort of sexual fetish way. It's more like as in the issue of needing that male figure constantly or whatever in your life. So yeah, I had to sort of explain that topic to my mum.
We're like, I have to, so I'm gonna release a song and like I'm singing about this, but it's not what you think.
Yeah, well, a lot of it was, I remember when I came back from the studio, I played my mum my album and she cried. Like, yeah, but like in a nice way. And then she'd go, so what did that line mean? And I'm like, So yeah.
So, but she wasn't like, we're gonna have a talk.
No, I think I'm quite lucky, and my mum's in that sense very woke. She's like, she's very modern, so she gets it, which is really, it's such a blessing, and she'll just support it no matter what. Which is really good.
That's great. Really. You seem pretty self-confident when you're just like doing the thing.
Yeah.
You don't really care too much about what other people think.
No.
What advice would you give to people who really struggle to be themselves because they're very scared of other people's opinions?
I mean, I may seem confident, but like I've dealt with loads of shit. I've got anxiety, I've got depression, I've got ADHD. Like, you know, it's taken me a lot to be confident enough to go on stage and be like, fuck this, like, I'm gonna do what I want, I don't give a shit. Like, for example, like two nights ago, some guy came up to me and was like, at the merch table, and he was like, people aren't here to hear your voice, they're here to see you in your skirt. And I was just like, what? Like, fuck you, man. Like both my drummer came out in shorts. Are you gonna say the same fucking thing to him? No, you wouldn't. So for me, but it makes me angry, but in a good way. Like, so like the next night, I went out in a mesh top and a bra.
You did, awesome.
And I was like, fuck this, like, this is my body. If you want to see me as that, that's your issue. Don't come up and tell me that's how you see me. I'm here for my art, and that's kind of it. But it's taken me a while to reach this level of being like, fuck you. Yeah,
no, I get it. It's interesting that you mentioned that, because I was actually going to ask you about, you know, what you would tell other females in the music industry. Because, like, for example, I'm also a music photographer, and I've also, like, been in that situation where bands wouldn't take me on tour because I'm a girl, and they're like, oh, our girlfriends don't want us to tour with a girl. Yeah, they'd be uncomfortable. I'm like, well, I just want to take photos. Like,
but that's the guy's issue. That's not your issue. That's their issue, and they need to go back and look at what generation we're in. There should be no line. Like, because a woman's on tour doesn't mean you have to sexualize her. She's just a woman. She's doing her job. We're doing our job.
Exactly.
There's no difference.
Yeah. So, like, what would you tell girls who want to be in the music industry, but they're...
I think, I hate to say it, but you literally need to just go for it and ignore what anyone is saying. And if you're passionate about something, it's kind of like you've got to do that blind eye. I mean, address it. If someone comes up to you and says something, address it and tell that person that they're in the wrong and they shouldn't be saying that. Because I feel like in this generation we're doing a lot of learning, and it is getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah, I feel like, but slowly.
Yeah, I think it's slowly but surely. But I feel like this call out generation is kind of what we need for people to understand that this isn't right.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Our magazine is called Momentum Magazine. So what gives you the momentum to keep on doing what you're doing?
I think it's the thrill, the adrenaline. For me, music has always been that release I've needed. I've written lyrics since I was like tiny. When I first started dealing with mental health, that was my release in everything that I do, and it's kept me alive for 22 years.
Awesome.
So yeah. All I can say, really.
I love it. Is there anything you would like to add?
Thank you so much for doing this interview.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
No,
it was a great first video interview. It couldn't have been any better. Awesome. Thank you so much.
No, you're very welcome. Thank you.
Yes.
That was awesome. Get drunk. Thank you. No, thank you so much.
Oh, no, that nice girl.
Chris.